studios. It's sunny San Diego, California. Big Biz Show's on there. Isn't that the equivalent of Brown Eyed Girl?
A little bit.
Really?
Yeah.
Let's lose that one. Sully here, Costa there.
Hello.
And the Day Trader Quattro. That wasn't satisfying, was it? Want to keep it going?
Just left me hanging.
Can I ask this? Have you do you listen to music differently now?
Yes, absolutely.
Now that you're what was the guy's name in the Mozart movie? Salieri or something? The guy that was jealous of Mozart that killed himself. So now that you're that,
Great.
do you listen to music differently now?
Totally. Yeah. It just whatever.
This should be good.
Oh.
How so?
Whatever playlists I have on my phone, plug them into the car and go.
Okay. Are you answering the same question? Like,
Do I listen to it
how are
differently?
you listening to music differently? Whatever playlist I have, I plug it in and go.
Well, no, normally it'd be on the radio or via my device. Are you saying with my different ears?
I'm just saying, now that you know that there's a resolve.
Oh, 100%. Sorry.
Show of hands. Does anybody believe that Mike knows what a resolve is?
I absolutely know what a resolve is. Thank you.
Okay, what's a resolve?
It's that thing at the end that just kind of wraps everything up in a nice little bundle.
Nailed it. I would pay good money just to see you do karaoke. Hey, great to have you on today. Our good friend John Rood is here. Can we play Fly Like an Eagle first, please? Because John Rood with Momentus, stock symbol MNTS, is here. You can go to momentus.space.
He's the rocket man.
He is the rocket man. Oh, here we go. Here we go, John. Hey, John. Are you hearing this?
Yes, I am. How you
That's
doing?
that's you know that's
Great to be with you.
that's Brian Jordan. Not from the Steve Miller. Wow, Mark. Okay.
Flying like an eagle here in space.
That's the result. Like that?
Yeah.
John, great to have you along. I have to ask you something because I was speaking to one of your market makers just 2 days ago, and they said, do these guys really launch a rocket in space for another company who's trying to deliver a satellite in space? Is that basically it?
Yes, think of us like the UPS of space. We take our satellite, we separate from a rocket, and then we deliver other satellites to space. In other cases, for some customers, we offer to just build the whole satellite and provide that service, both to provide what's called the bus or the chassis for the satellite, as well as integrate the instruments. And so, as an example, last week we submitted some bids to commercial customers and the Department of Defense to do that kind of work.
John, will there ever be a time where you guys launch your own rocket versus on the infrastructure of, Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos or so on and so, or NASA even?
No, we're trying to be that last mile connection, basically being your connecting flight in space, where we're going to leverage the infrastructure that Elon Musk and SpaceX or newer companies like Relativity or ABL are putting in place. And part of the reason is there's been a decline in the cost of buying that commercial launch service by 95% over the last 20 years, according to McKinsey. But there hasn't been an increase in your ability to reach custom orbits or to service things in space. And the number of satellites that are needed to support, growing communication needs, remote sensing, et cetera, has really blossomed as well. Last year, Space Foundation just put out a report in the last week that said commercial satellite manufacturing has grown to $7.9 billion in revenue in 2022, which is nearly double what it was the previous year.
And it wasn't even a thing.
No.
10 years ago, right? I mean, this was not even a thing. Now we're creating an infrastructure in space.
Hey, John, does what Momentus's responsibility from 3-2-1 ignition to when you jettison whatever is in the cocoon out into space, where does your responsibility end once that process has taken place? Is it when you put the satellites out into orbit?
Well, we'll take our customer satellites and integrate them and get them all ready for launch. It's a service we provide, including the licensing activities. But then, once you get separated from the rocket, we'll prepare you for launch on the rocket, going through environmental testing, space testing environments. Then once you're in space, we will separate and deliver you to your appointed destination, whatever that orbit is. And then at that stage, if it's just for transportation, that ends our responsibility. We've safely taken your satellite to its destination.
Hey, John,
In other cases, people will pay us to host them and to operate their machine in space with what we call hosted payload service. And for example, we're doing that today for Caltech, where they're showing the ability to collect solar energy in space and transmit it wirelessly to Pasadena.
John, your Vigoride spacecraft, that's the spacecraft that delivers the other satellites, correct?
That's right.
Does that stay in orbit?
It does, and it'll stay in orbit. The ideal situation is if we've got enough passengers, we will both deliver them to orbit and then stay in orbit and provide hosted payload services to others for whatever duration their mission is. So at the moment, the Caltech hosted payload that we're supporting, they've got a contract with us to do that for at least 6 months with an option for up to 2 years. The reason that's attractive commercially is you can continue to provide a multiplicity of services and then gain revenue over a longer period of time from the same product that you produced.
John Rood's our guest. He is the CEO of a company called Momentus. MNTS is their stock symbol. John, when we met you, you had deployed 7 Vigoride spacecraft. What's the number up now?
We've deployed 15 satellites from our 3 Vigoride spacecraft in orbit so far. So technically, that's 18 satellites we've put into space. And we did that from the first launch to the third one, all in under a year, which in the space industry is considered very rapid for your first launches. And obviously, we've now come up the learning curve, and we can accelerate that production schedule quite a bit.
John, we've only known you for 7 months. I'm not kidding. You put 8 satellites in space in 7 months. My question is this: so are you brand specific to Jeff Bezos' rockets? Are you brand specific to Elon Musk? Are there other folks trying to get your business? Talk about that side of the equation.
We're neutral. We're agnostic. We can go with any of those partners. We've got agreements with SpaceX and a couple of other companies called Relativity and Gilmore, but we can fly with Jeff Bezos and Blue Origin. We can fly with United Launch Alliance or any launcher really, as long as they've got a little bit of capacity that can carry us and our customer payloads. So that gives us a lot of options in the future.
So my question is this: so for the rest of the year, since you've gotten the speed of light for the last 7 months, what's next for you guys? I mean, obviously, trying to get business into the pipeline is one thing, right? But what about for you guys as a company?
That's right. We're trying to get business in the pipeline, and we're seeing a lot of growing interest in our capabilities. As I mentioned, we submitted a bid, for example, last week to the Space Development Agency for the Defense Department in the U.S. To produce 50 satellites for what they call the transport layer, basically communication satellites, where they're building this large network of several hundred around the Earth. And this is just the latest solicitation they've put out. We've bid other jobs to commercial customers to do similar things for their constellation or to provide hosted payload services. So that's a big effort. We're also in the process of producing our next Vigoride, which will launch early next year, and then we'll put some customer payloads up in space also later this year.
John, next time you guys launch, we've got to have you out there, and we connect here, even with an iPhone. I think it'd be fantastic to do the interview. Plus, we want you out in San Diego. John Rood, CEO, Momentus, MNTS. Always a pleasure, brother. Go to momentus.space. He's in the business of satellites.
He said, when he first joined us the first time, he said it's not the final frontier, it is absolutely the next frontier.
He's done 8 launches in 7 months. More Big Biz coming up. Stand by.